What is going on, everyone? I know this video has been long overdue. Honestly, I've just been really sick and I'm kind of able to finally get talking and make this video, so I do apologize for the delay, but I am excited to share some of the lore that can be found in the map Corrode. It was teased early on that Corrode will take place on Mont Saint-Michel in France. However, this map is located on Omega Earth. Following the anniversary of the First Light event, Riot wanted to further showcase the resulting impact that the First Light event had on Omega Earth, something that didn't occur on Alpha Earth. After the First Light event, the only thing that really happened on Alpha Earth was a worldwide blackout and the power was just restored shortly after. That's pretty much it in terms of the immediate impact of this event. In comparison, on Omega Earth, the First Light event caused a worldwide shift in the climate. As a result, the world descended into chaos and life on Earth became a challenge. One of the first and main indicators of this catastrophic event that the First Light had on Omega Earth was first shown on the map Pearl. When the agents infiltrated this map, Killjoy was under the impression that the Valorant Legion were building some sort of massive weapon of destruction, only to find out that they were wrong. Rather, the technology being built were life support systems, in order to regulate the living conditions of these massive underwater domes for people so that they can survive. But that map takes place underwater, and another map that was designed to showcase the different climates of Alpha and Omega Earth is Fracture, with the Alpha side having greenery and life, and the Omega side being desolate and barren. Now we have Corrode, with Riot taking another step in developing the lore of Valorant, showing us what this part of the world looks like on Omega Earth after the First Light event. As you can see, this map is an island, yet there is no water. That's because all the water in the surrounding area had evaporated, and in its place left saline crystals and salt flats, along with a large tornado that stays in place. The reason that these salt crystals look this way on these buildings are due to the strong winds that are present on this map. I'll get back to the weather a little bit later. As we can see, Corrode is a residential map with homes and shops, and there are in fact locals who were affected by this drastic change in their home and got to work to fix their city, as we can see in this mural on the wall. But the more obvious presence that we have is that of Atlas, who typically act as security for Omega Earth, particularly in interdimensional travel. We got several teasers of these strange looking soldiers and vehicles in previous cinematics, and it was theorized that we may be looking at a brand new faction. But it turns out that it was Atlas all along, and they've simply stepped up their game and are taking on new tasks. With the excessive amounts of salt and salt crystals all around Corrode, many of which contain traces of radianite, Atlas took it upon themselves to come and quote-unquote help out the locals. But what Atlas is really doing is that they are mining these salt crystals, processing them through these machines and having them turned into these capsules which are fused with radianite. They proceed to then transport crates of these capsules or vials in their trucks throughout the city and all the way outside where they have this massive carrier standing by. This carrier is the same one that we saw in the V25 cinematic, which had everyone wondering what the heck it is. Well, now we know. And this carrier is a multi-purpose vehicle. It's shaped like a massive aircraft carrier, so it does definitely function in water, but it also has rows of massive wheels so that it can travel on land. The top of the carrier also has 2 landing strips and helipads as you'd normally see on a carrier. In the distance, we can also see what looks to be 3 separate factories. I'm assuming these are also built by Atlas to help with the processing and refinery of the salt into radianite capsules. You can find a lot of these details scattered around the map. A lot of the times they'll be in the unplayable areas just outside where the normal map is, but clearly visible for you to see. Other times they will be just above you when you're in an interior or outside in general. Valorant's developers have noted that they always want to make sure that the playable area of the map and normal sightlines are clear from unnecessary clutter so players can focus on the game, and the real details of the map and lore are scattered around the playable area or simply above you where you wouldn't be looking usually. One of the key pieces of lore that can be found on this map is on attacker spawn, where we can find an email from 2 Atlas individuals sent by Lieutenant Delacroix to Captain Montrose. The email reads, "Captain, I insist that we extend OM and RP's working hours. The Alpha threat drawing Legion's attention here have made our ground team jumpy, but we need the push. I'll adjust prisoner watch rotations as needed. Once they crack the formula, we can begin final Mega Spike assembly. Legion hasn't questioned us yet. Reality stabilization was the perfect cover for this entire occupation." Alright, so this email here has 2 very important things mentioned. The first of which is who are OM and RP, and the second is the mention of the Mega Spike. But before I explain that, I want to talk to you guys about exit lag. One of the most annoying and common issues that we have as gamers is the problem of high ping and lagging. Oftentimes, this may not even be because of your internet connection. Exit lag optimizes the route of your data directly to the game server, and as a result, reduces your ping and gives you less latency, as well as giving you an FPS boost. So it really is an all-in-one software to help you run your games more smoothly. They have an entire library of games to choose from, including Call of Duty, Valorant, and Fortnite, so you can use this software with basically any game that you play, as they do have over 3,000 games in their library. In order to use exit lag, all you have to do is create your account, select the game that you're going to play, and simply activate it. It's foolproof, easy to use, and it actually works. Here's what my game looks like with and without exit lag. As you can see on the right side, my game is much smoother, lower ping, and less latency. Heck, I even won the deathmatch because of it. Exit lag has multiple plans for you to choose from. The one that gets you the best bang for your buck is the annual option, which charges you only half the price for the entire year at $6.65 if you use my coupon code Nibble. Otherwise, the normal discount on the site is set at 38% off or $8.33 per month. So on top of the existing promotions, make sure to use my discount code in order to save more money. If you have a duo or multiple friends that also want to use exit lag, they have options for that as well, with their annual duo package coming in at $449 per player and the squad package coming in at $337 per player, which is insanely cheap and affordable. Again, these prices do have my affiliate code Nibble, so make sure you have that redeemed before you subscribe. And to top it all off, if you want to try exit lag without paying a dime, they do have a 3-day free trial for new accounts, so you can try them out completely free for 3 days, see the benefits of the lower ping and FPS boost without spending anything. Make sure you guys check out exit lag and feel the difference today, because believe me, I have. Alrighty, back to the lore story on Corrode. Who the heck are OM and RP in this Atlas email? Well, this is referring to Oren McKenna and Ruben Pontes, who are Kingdom Corporation and Kingdom Industry scientists. They were introduced to us on the map fracture as working together and handling most of the emails on the map, as the two different Kingdom organizations from Alpha and Omega Earth worked together on the Large Radiant Collider. After the collider was blown up by Chamber, their whereabouts became unknown and whether they even survived it, until they were spotted on the map Pearl through this teaser here as riding the tram together, and it looks like they had escaped the disaster. Afterwards, the two of them became wanted fugitives. While Oren is a part of Kingdom Corporation, he was wanted for being an illegal alien from Alpha Earth, and with Ruben Pontes being a part of Kingdom Industries, he was wanted for harboring a fugitive. There are several other details about them around Pearl, but ultimately they disappeared until now. It looks like they were captured and are being held as prisoners by Atlas on Corrode. Since they are scientists, Atlas is using their expertise in order for them to crack some sort of formula so that they can begin assembling something called a Mega Spike. If you don't know, the spike itself in the game does have lore to it. Its purpose is that it's planted by Valorant Legion agents on Alpha Earth, and the detonation captures and collects all the surrounding Radianite. That Radianite is then taken back to Omega Earth to be used for their own use. And since we do also play on Omega Earth maps, the idea is the same. However, the attacking side, which is Alpha Earth, is detonating the spike to steal back the Radianite that was initially stolen in the first place. So this Mega Spike just sounds like a much larger version of the normal spike. It could be the same size or a smaller or bigger device, but the point of it will most likely be that it will have a much larger radius when it explodes, so that Atlas will be able to capture more Radianite from a larger area. And this is pretty strange because it's usually the Valorant Legion agents who come in and plant the spike to steal Radianite. But now we have Atlas also creating their own version of it, which is much bigger, and they are trying to keep this a secret. They're worried about Legion finding out about their true intentions because they covered their plans on Corrode by stating that it was for reality stabilization. Now we partially know what Atlas is planning. All we need to figure out is why they need this Mega Spike and what their end goal is. And if Legion were to find out about this Mega Spike, there could be a clash between them on Omega Earth, which the Valorant Protocol could take advantage of. Or it could be the opposite, where they team up and work together to get this Mega Spike brought over to Alpha Earth. I'm sure Omega's Killjoy would be really interested in learning about this Mega Spike. Also, while on the topic of Legion, considering that Corrode is a playable map where Alpha and Omega agents are present planting and defusing the spike, the idea behind it is that Alpha agents are trying to steal the Radianite that is present around the map, whereas in contrast, Omega agents are trying to defend Corrode and thus defending Atlas, because they're unaware that the whole reality stabilization was a cover-up. So what they're really doing is defending their secret plot of gathering all this Radianite and building the Mega Spike, which Atlas is more than happy to allow. However, that email did mention that with the Alpha agents attacking Corrode, the presence of Valorant's Legion does have the Atlas soldiers worried that they will be exposed, particularly in the fact that they are holding Oron and Ruben prisoner and they don't want them to know. That's pretty much it for the lore as it relates to Atlas and the Valorant agents on both Alpha and Omega Earth. As new patches come out, I'm sure we'll get more updates. Going back to the crazy weather that we have on this map, there is actually a spot on this map where we can hear announcements made by two meteorologists, Gerard and Aurélie, or in French, Aurélie. These two make periodic announcements about the weather that is on Corrode, and these announcements are not normal, hey, today is sunny, tomorrow's rainy type of weather, but their announcements serve the purpose of warning the locals and Atlas soldiers.
Station centrale, ici Aurélie de l'Observatoire Ouest. Une tempête de catégorie 6 se dirige en votre direction. Elle vient de passer le secteur 9. Je répète, tempête de catégorie 6 en approche.
For context here, hurricanes are measured from category 1 through to 5, with category 5 being the most severe and destructive. The reason there is no category 6 in real life is because category 5 already measures catastrophic damage due to storm's properties. So a category 6 will only be different in terms of wind speeds, which is deemed unnecessary to have, so we only have 5. But on Corrode, it looks like a category 6 is in fact needed. And I think this is because aside from the catastrophic damage that is caused by this category 6 storm, there is also the terrain alteration and landscape changes that come with it. The storm is so strong that we have salt crystals basically growing on top of these buildings, and they're all pointed in the same direction too, which tell you what direction the wind usually is. And with the First Light event changing the climate of Omega Earth so drastically to the point where entire islands lose its surrounding water, I'm sure the normal weather categories may be altered to adjust for any other climate changes such as stronger storms. Also, a side note, the name of the map Corrode corresponds to the corrosion that you see around the map because of all the salt scattered everywhere, because the properties of salt do significantly accelerate the corrosion of materials. Ending off on this massive tornado here, or it could even be a hurricane. While this is part of the narrative that the First Light event caused massive climate shifts and storms to occur, I do believe there is more to the story with this storm, specifically as Agent 29 is related to it. I'm sure that Agent 29 is lurking around somewhere on Corrode or around this tornado. We already know that they're going to have abilities similar to the theme of this map, such as creating salt crystals on command, and even possibly something that has to do with wind, water, and lightning, but we will have to wait and see as we get more teasers on that. I do have another Agent 29 video coming out shortly with a brief update on new things that we've learned, so make sure you are subscribed so you don't miss out on that video. Let me know what you guys think about the lore on Corrode. Drop your own theories and questions down in the comment section down below, and as always, thanks for watching and I'll see you all in the next one.